You take hold of me. You take hold of me. I can't fake you. I can't fake you. I can't fake love the way you come at me. Hard to get to state your thing.
Good afternoon, friends and car lovers alike. Today we are in one of the most controversial, yet one of the most anticipated cars for 2020. It is the all-new Toyota Supra. So this was a collaboration project with BMW to actually get this bad boy out on the road, and it made a lot of people very angry because it is not a 100% Toyota. It doesn't have a 3JZ. It doesn't have this. It doesn't have that. Well, let's start with some of the things that it does have that stays true to Supra lineage. It has an inline turbo 6. It is rear-wheel drive. It makes over 300 horsepower. This particular one has a limited slip differential, and it is an absolute pile of fun out on the road. You know, people get kind of mad at this car because Toyota teamed up with BMW. God forbid, you know, automakers pair up and try and spread development costs over a couple different manufacturers. Toyota did this with Subaru, with the BRZ, the 86 twins, and it helped keep that car cost effective. Toyota has done the same with BMW to help keep this car cost effective. And while it may not be a 3JZ Super Supra that everybody was kind of hoping for when they saw the concept, this has stayed very true to the FT1 that inspired it. And with the help of BMW, I think they've captured all of the character of the Supra and made it just as fun to drive, just as much of an event, just as exciting to actually be behind the wheel of as any modern BMW or any new Toyota. It's plenty of power to go ahead and do whatever you need to do. Toyota claims 335 at the crank, which I believe is complete and total pucky, because this car easily eclipses that number. You can feel it the first time you get behind the wheel and give it a nice punch. There is no way this car makes 330 horsepower, even on its weakest of days. So we're behind the wheel now, tearing it down some back roads, and I have to say I am really impressed. It's planted where you need it to be, but for the rest of the time, this car is an absolute hooligan. It wants to play. It will get the rear end out if you want it to. If you turn the traction control all the way off, you can get this thing tail sliding in a hurry. As soon as the turbo spools up, which it does pretty quickly, you are moving. And if you don't look correctly when you go to make a passing maneuver, you will accidentally be doing 120 faster than you can blink your eyeballs. It's fast for what it is and for kind of what you expect. This car definitely goes above and beyond. It kind of punches above its class and its power range for what people expect of it, and you know, kind of what the numbers lead you to believe this car is. So there's been plenty of people who have been upset by this car and by what BMW and Toyota have done. And any naysayers who are out there saying that this car can't live up to the old car, or it's a piece of junk just because it has a BMW badge slapped on a couple of the parts under the hood, they're incorrect. And I'm going to say they haven't driven one or taken the time to actually go and have some fun with one, because my goodness, this car is exciting. It's genuinely exciting. As a halo car for Toyota, this nails it. They're not trying to keep it special. They're not trying to tuck it away so that nobody can drive one or ever see one. You know, I got out of a Lexus LC 500 just now, and that car is so exclusive and so rare. I've seen 4 since they've come out. I've already seen at least 8 Supras. You know, they're actually getting out onto the road. The first round of them may have gone for a little bit more than they should have, with dealers kind of gouging on some markup and people on the resale market trying to list them for a bit higher than what they're worth. But with some of the changes that Toyota's made for 2021, they make the newer car a little bit more appealing. And I don't want to say kill the resale value of this particular one, but they bring it down a little bit, because the new one has a little bit more power. It has different suspension tuning. It has things a little more lined out. It's not quite as tail happy and silly as this car can be, because if you put your foot down with the traction control off, you better have both hands on the wheel, because it's going to get squirrely on you. But that's the fun of it. It never feels out of control. It never feels like it's trying to kill you. It never feels like if you hit the throttle on the turn at the wrong spot, you're going to end up in the weeds. It just wants to play. It's happy, it's excited that you're taking it out for a drive, and you will be happy and excited to get to take it out for a drive. I've talked to a bunch of people here recently who have been so excited just to be standing near it, just to be breathing on it, that it really makes me applaud the job that Toyota's done, regardless of the fact that it's with a BMW or, with whoever they partner. Because at the end of the day, that's who you want building your car. The people who make the best turbo inline six in the business. The ones who are sports car by DNA, the ultimate driving machine. Isn't that the people you want working on this car? It could have come out as some hybrid, some kind of newfangled, new tech masterpiece that a lot of cars are trying to go for nowadays. But Toyota kept it simple. They kept it plain, they kept it easy. 3-liter turbo inline six, just like the last one. Rear wheel drive, just like the last one. Just enough power to be fun and exciting without trying to kill you. And Toyota's talking about trying to up the power down the road. Obviously, the 2021 makes about 50 more horsepower. You feel it, but it's more so in the mid-range than outright, oh my god, this has 50 extra horsepower. Because this car's pretty quick out of the box, and even for the 2020. Other than that, it's surprisingly well built. Everything feels nice and solid. This interior is leagues above any kind of interior you would get with a Toyota product. And that's where this car really shines. Is all the areas you not necessarily get skimped with a Toyota, but all the areas that are kind of leaving a little bit to be desired. The BMW part of this car fills in super nicely. You've got this iDrive system that is from the last generation, but it's still really easy to use once you get used to it. Not quite as simple as the Toyota infotainment systems. If you hop in out of a new RAV4, you'll be a little confused as to what the heck this car is actually about. But once you get used to it, and especially if you've been in BMW products before, it'll come boom, like that. It's fascinating, really, how people can complain so much about something that really lives up to the identity of the old car. People didn't really start getting excited about the Supra until Fast and Furious, until Toyota hadn't been making them for a while, and then all of a sudden the demand for it was sky high. Whereas with this car, they were able to build a bit of demand. When that FT1 concept came out, people were hyped. People couldn't wait for this to hit production form some way, shape, or form, and get it out on the road and actually be able to see it somewhere other than an auto show. And that really shows when you start driving past people and they're almost swerving India, trying to hit you, just trying to take a picture of the car. You have everybody from boy racers to old men coming up and giving you the thumbs up, trying to tell you, oh, I had one of those. That's a Supra. I recognize it by the roof. And that's the thing, is people do know that this is a Supra. You don't have to say it to people. Anybody who knows a lick about sports cars and about Toyota and about the heritage of this car comes up and is super excited about it. They're curious, more so than, I would say, argumentative and judgmental about the fact that it's a BMW. So what's the final verdict on the 2020 Toyota Supra? It's one of the best driver's cars on the market for under $60,000. It looks absolutely stunning. It stays very true to the original and to the FT1 concept, with striking lines, big hips, nice looking proportions, a beautiful front end, and one of my favorite 3/4 views in the industry. It also just takes your breath away. You get in and you drive it around a little bit, and it's everything you wanted it to be. It's fast, it's fun, it feels light-footed. It's agile through the corners. It feels nice. It's not a tinny, rattly interior. It's something you can be proud of, something that you can show off, and something that you can really be excited about and, really be part of the cutting edge and part of the new generation of Supras. And it feels like a new generation. It feels like the car has continued on. It's lived up to its legacy. It's still as powerful and as fun as it's ever been, and will continue to expand that as Toyota really grows the Supra name and a lot of the stuff within the lineup. I'm so proud of them for bringing it back and honestly doing it really well. Who cares that they collaborated with someone else to cut development costs? Aren't you glad it cost $50K and not $200K? Because that's the question that we would have been asking at the end of the day had Toyota tried to saddle it on themselves. I mean, look at the LFA. Took them over 10 years to develop and costs a pretty penny still today. Whereas the Supra is going to start to be really available. You're going to start seeing them on the roads. You're going to start seeing them used and becoming really affordable. And that is exciting, and that is why it's one of the most anticipated cars of 2020. So if you've enjoyed this review, I hope you stick around and check out some of the others. Go ahead and give us a follow at Driven Summit at either Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. And I hope you check it out in the future. We'll have more cool stuff coming. So have a good day. Yeah, this car is the little devil on your shoulder trying to get you arrested. Genuinely, you put your foot down, you start getting into the triple digits, and the little red guy who's hanging out on your right shoulder says, hey, if you keep your foot down a little longer, we can be doing like $120, $130. Doesn't that sound fun? And you're like, sure, why not? You hold it that little bit extra, bam, limiter, $155. Too fast, time for jail. Too much, to jail. Right foot hard, to jail. Trying downshift to pass a car on the highway, to jail. Trying to catch a nice, quick, easy shift and get around somebody on a turn, to jail.